Oh boy. Dynamite was a bore, as per usual. But it is what it is. What can we do? This show was Halloween themed. It was the second year in a row they did AEW Fright Night Dynamite. Whatever, who really cares? It's not really all that important. The only thing I liked about the show was the main event, which was a fatal four-way involving Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley, Hook, and Ricochet. Hook should have not been there. And the same thing with Ricochet. But Ricochet has improved ever since he's turned heel, and he has his faction around him. But, it is what it is. So, let's just go ahead and get into this review. And that way we can move on from this nonsense. Because really nothing occurred on this show. And it seems that Full Gear is going to be nothing but rematches. Oh, joy. Not really. But it is what it is. All right, first match of the night. Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. They defeat Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. I did not give a damn about this match. Why? Because I didn't watch it. It was a waste of time. All I know is that Darby and Orange Cassidy won. Darby ended up winning via the Scorpion Deathlock. All right, cool. Whatever. So, we go backstage. Hook talks about his match tonight, which is earn a win and get his shot at the world title. Then he goes closer into the camera and says that that he will focus on Samoa Joe to make sure he doesn't advance tonight. And he fails in that regard. So there is that. Who gives a damn? Moving right along. So this leads us into the Fatal 4-Way number one contender tag team match. FTR, they defeat the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey, and Jurassic Express, Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus. Who really gives a damn? I thought they were going to push Jurassic Express, but it wasn't. So, and really and truthfully, I don't care about any of the teams involved here. I really don't, all right? I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks. FTR has been there forever, basically, in AEW. Jet Speed is, they're all right, and I don't give a damn about Jurassic Express. So, whatever. FTR winning is okay. And also, with Stokely halfway being on commentary, that was kind of funny, too. Don Callis basically wants to recruit the Young Bucks into the Don Callis family. He gave them their entrance and all that, and pyro and all that jazz during this match. Well, before the match took place, whatever. I don't care about this garbage. All right. Moving right along. So, then we get a Don Callis family segment. So, the whole family shows up. So all the members of the Don Callis family put over Don Callis. He reveals a photo of the entire family. And whatever. None of this is important. So, all the members of the Don Callis family put over Don Callis and what he's done so far for them. And basically the whole gist of this thing is that Takeshita, he came late to the party. And Don Callis spends about 2-3 minutes trying to get Okada and Takeshita to work on the same page. He wants them to shake hands, and Okada flips off Takeshita. This pisses off Takeshita, and they are separated by the remaining members of the Don Callis family. And then Don Callis proceeds to say that Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada are going to team up on Collision to take on some random team. I think it's the Acclaimed. to show that they can coexist. So this is okay. This makes perfect sense. This clearly is going to lead to a match probably at Full Gear, more than likely Takeshita versus Okada, which should bang. Or they could save this for New Japan. So they could save it for that. All the way to Dominion. But I doubt if they're going to... Well, Wrestle Kingdom, my bad. Wrestle Kingdom. So I doubt that'll happen, though. But we'll probably get this at Full Gear. We should. We got about a good, about a good 3.5 weeks until Full Gear. So there is that. But that was okay as well. So Mercedes Moné, she jumps Chris Statlander and beats her up and everything. They have a little brawl. Moving on from that, who cares? So then Jon Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly, they had a rematch for the second time. So Jon Moxley is terrifying of being made to submit. He's afraid of Kyle O'Reilly, right? So Kyle O'Reilly gets him into a bunch of submission holds, arm bars, and everything else. It basically leads to a double count out and everything. So that's fine there. Who really cares? Basically, all this shit is leading up to Blood and Guts. Who gives a damn? Blood and Guts is in 2 weeks. You have two lame factions that really aren't over, the Death Riders and the Conglomeration. The only member that I like of the Conglomeration is Mark Briscoe. I don't give a damn about anybody else in that faction. Well, actually, my bad. I take that back. I also like Willow Nightingale, but Willow Nightingale does not need to be subject to this garbage. So maybe she'll appear in Blood and Guts. Maybe. Just maybe. So, it is what it is. Who gives a damn? So, I mentioned before, Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander, they got into a brawl. Athena showed up and helped out Mercedes and everything. And then Willow Nightingale shows up to make the save, so that's fine. So clearly they're setting up for the women's tag tournament. Whatever. None of this shit matters either. So, who gives a damn? Who really gives a damn? Then this leads us into the first round for the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. So, Sisters of Sin, which is Julia Hart and Sky Blue, they were defeated by... No, actually, they won the match. I wasn't even paying attention to this shit. So, they win. The Sisters of Sin win. Cool. Whatever. Megan Bain, she spoke on this show for the second time in a row. She actually spoke on Collision not too long ago. That's what I've heard. So Penelope Ford, she's going to be out for a while. She has a torn... shoulder UCL. She's going to be out indefinitely, so she's probably going to be gone for about a good year. We probably won't see her until late next year, maybe early 2027, depending on how severe it is, but she's going to be out for a minute. That's no joke. That's no joke. So Megan Bain calls out any woman that's willing to step up, and she'll decide who is worthy. So Marina Shafir, her sorry ass comes in, and she's listening, and then Mox comes in and then tells Megan Bain to look out. So it seems like they're going to be on the same page. I don't give a single damn about this garbage. Main event of the evening, Samoa Joe defeats Hook, Bobby Lashley, and Ricochet. The match was solid. Lashley, in my opinion, should have won, but towards the end of the match, Ricochet brought in a steel chair. Lashley no-sold it. Lashley chased Ricochet up the ramp. This allowed for Samoa Joe to lock in the Coquina clutch, and Hook tapped out before Bobby Lashley could get in and stop that from happening. And then, post-match, Samoa Joe got on the mic, and he tells Tony Schiavone that he's going to hurt Hangman and everything else. Joe signs the contract. There's a couple guys that show up in costumes, like, a chicken suit and the Pillsbury Doughboy and all that nonsense from last year or whatever. So Joe gets on the mic and he says that Hangman's days are numbered, and standing in front of you is the next AEW World Champion. So Tony Schiavone then calls for a toast. So basically, it's not really Tony Schiavone. It's actually Hangman dressed up as Tony Schiavone, which is pretty cool. And then Hangman beats up the Ops from behind. And then he hits Samoa Joe with the buckshot lariat. And he lays some punches in. And then security and referees separate Hangman and Samoa Joe. And that's how the show ends. Exciting, right? No, it's not. Again, Bobby Lashley should have won this match. I do like Joe, but we know Joe's going to be a loser. The reason Bobby Lashley should have won this match is because he needs to be in the main event scene. He's extremely credible. And AEW could use somebody like Lashley. And then whenever MJF comes back, you can always revisit that MJF-Bobby Lashley feud. You should, revisit that. Well, my bad, not revisit that, but continue that story. We never got really anything that came out of MJF joining the Hurt Business briefly, and then he got kicked out, and then it was just abruptly stopped. And that's not good shit at all. So it is what it is, but this show was boring. It was a snooze fest. The Fatal 4-Way for the main event was solid. I do like that. I just wish that Bobby Lashley would have won this, and he would have been the one to put Hangman Adam Page out of his misery. But I got a feeling that Hangman probably won't be champion too much longer. I imagine maybe MJF shows up maybe at World's End probably. I doubt he'll show up at Full Gear. It just doesn't seem likely. And so maybe Hangman is just going to be champion until Revolution in March. So I mean that could be fine there. You have him hold it down for the remainder of the year, and then he loses to MJF at Revolution next year. So you give him a good 6-month title reign. That's okay, I guess. But what's done is done. It is what it is. But what did you guys think of Dynamite Fright Night? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.